And this story is important for our young men and women and the politicians who are trying to take our country back to the era of primitivity. You know, usual politicians, in their desperation to retain power, they whip up ethnicity, religion, and other primordial sentiments. Because, unlike in those days, in my own part of the world, we're young, 79. Baba Kayo show Tidibo. I mean Tidibo. Oh, fẹ́ kọ́ ọmọ ẹ lọ sí ilé ìwé ọ̀fẹ́. Kò sí yẹn mọ́ sá. There is nothing to offer the people any longer. And that is why they have to talk of ethnicity and religion. Why the problems of poverty, unemployment, epileptic supply of electricity, bad roads, gargantuan corruption continue. So that you don't ask those questions. So the question of asking questions will not arise. So those stories on May 23, 1986, 4 young students, 4 female students were killed in the University of Ahmadu Bello, Zaria. There was a controversy. What happened? How many students were killed? At 9 o'clock news that night, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ango Abdullahi, the same Ango Abdullahi, said, national news, only 4 students were killed. That statement angered the entirety of Nigerian students. And without any organization, that night, students began protest all over the country. Yinka and 2 people on the high table. Biodun Wonikoke said, only with the physical said, were co-students with Yinka. They genuine progressive. They were genuine progressive students. Because we had an organization in Ife called Alliance of Progressive Students. Students who educated themselves. We were young socialists, young Marxist movement. Those students mobilized University of Ife students to protest the killing, the brutal killing of students. In Usuka, in Yabatek, everywhere. They were brutal. What did the Babangida junta do? Instead of penalizing all the student leaders, he went to Usuka. Because since 1970, since the end of the Civil War, UNN students had never joined a protest by Nigerian students. So why should you do this? Babangida ordered that the leaders of the student union in that school, be arrested and taken to jail. They were talking to a magistrate court that ordered that they be detained in custody, Usuka prison. Yinka led some students to our chambers, Akabashonu chambers at the Butemeta, to ask for our intervention in respect of those students. ABU student killed, Usuka student locked up. If a student came to Lagos to mobilize lawyers, and Akabashonu said, Femi, here you are. You have to rush to Usuka. The late Comrade Akabashonu provided the logistics for me to go to Usuka, and with an instruction, if those students are not released, don't come back to Lagos. So we rushed to Usuka together with Tony Akika from Plateau State, who was with us in chamber, and we got those students released. We didn't have mobile telephone. So we had to get in touch with our comrades in Ife. Your comrades in Nusuka have been released. But that was not the end of the story. As soon as they returned to campus, the vice chancellor, know this, Professor Shimere Ikoku, handed over their expulsion letters to them. I had returned to Lagos. Again, Yinka and others got in touch with us. And my boss, Allah Kavashan, said, Femi, you have to go back. But we prepared the applications in Lagos. Because those students were in jail when they were alleged to have committed the offense for which they were dismissed. Very simple and straightforward. We filed the action in court. The case came up. And a very senior lawyer, a very senior Igbo lawyer, a senior advocate of Nigeria, said, my lord, he didn't have a defense to the case. He then said, my lord, you see these students, 9 of them, led by Chima Ubani of blessed memory. My lord, see these students, our students here. This lawyer, all the way from across the Niger to incite our students here. And the judge told him, an Igbo judge, chief, if you have no submission before me, don't go that route. That is a dangerous route. You and I were trained in England. Is that what we learned in school? Students were expelled here from what you have said without a fair hearing. Instead of submitting to judgment, you are now inciting ethnicity. So if lawyers in the West, your colleague, Alawa Kabashon, ask this young man to come here and save students so that their future will not be destroyed, please don't go that route. In fairness to the senior lawyer, he apologized. 2 days later, the court gave judgment in favor of the students. Again, as soon as they returned to campus, an announcement was made that those students were going to be charged before a special military tribunal. The sentence, I think, was either death penalty or life imprisonment. Again, I was dispatched to Nsuka. But this time around, my comrades here, Yinka and others, mobilized Nigerian students. Nuns, we had nuns then, not nuns, a branch of the villa now. These students ensure, comrade, go on. But we shall make Nigeria ungovernable if they commence the trial of those students. And so confidently I walked to the court, my lord, a panel of inquiry, a special tribunal, headed by Justice John Ebwe, a game market and Igbo judge, came to sit specially in Enugu. They couldn't go to Nsukka, but they had to sit in Enugu so that the student would not be able to come. But the students, some walked in Nsukka and Enugu, some got some vehicle. And they came, surrounded the court. Mr. Ayuade, the prosecutor, made an application that the student be remanded in prison custody since trial was not ready yet. I asked for their bail and the judge adjourned to 2 o'clock. But to my utter surprise, the judge came at 2 o'clock. Instead of giving his ruling, said, Mr. Ayuade, any application? Ayuade, any application? Mr. Ayuade said, my lord, the government in its generosity has decided to withdraw the charge. And the judge asked me, Mr. Falana, what's your objection? I mean, do you have any objection? I said, no objection. But it's not out of generosity. The students, Nigerian students, have decided to free themselves. They wanted this trial to start, sir, so that they would make Nigeria ungovernable. And that was how those students were able to go back and complete their course. Second story. Following the annulment of the June 12th election, we had a huge demonstration on 5th of July that nobody ever thought would happen in Nigeria. In fact, that morning, when the late Dr. Bekon and some Kuti was asked, because it was campaign for democracy that they had the rally, how many people are you expecting on the street? He said, well, maybe about 5,000 people. But we had over 1 million people on the street. And what happened? 5th, 6th, and 7th of July. So the Babangida junta, in his foolishness, thought once some of us were captured and taken away, nothing will happen again. So they gave the newspaper to smuggle to me, to Shifa me. He jumped for joy. Femi, you know, even without being here. I said, sorry, sir. The struggle continued. When the Abacha junta killed about 200 people in Lagos, Joe, here. My people there, Yinka and others decided, we won't send people to the street again. We shall embark on civil disobedience. And so the first day, the entire Lagos streets were empty. Again, newspaper was not good to us. Shifayemi said, no, this one, we have to slaughter a goat if we had our way home. You mean this is Lagos, this is Nigeria? That people have decided to take their destiny in their own hands. These two stories are important for people who believe now in this Lagos and elsewhere that unless you are from a certain part of the country, you cannot exercise your democratic rights. Rights that Yinka and others fought for. And I have one of these guys one day say, Mr. Falana, please talk to your son. You should stop embarrassing the guy. I said, which government? You mean that boy? No, he's an adult. Can I give you his number? So that you can talk to him, but be careful. Be very careful, you know. When that boy was grown up, I was being arrested from time to time. So at the stage, the only language he understood was detention, arrest, and the rest of them. And that one day, when that boy was 6, he asked the mother, only our teacher taught us that only 2 types of people are arrested. No, only criminals were arrested. So is my father a criminal? Why is he always being arrested? And the mother had to say, in Nigeria, under the military, 2 sets of people are arrested. Criminal suspects and political suspects. Political suspects are those who are out to expose the criminality of the government. And that is what is still going on. So when we are gathered to honor Yinka, this aspect of his life, his dedication to the institutionalization of democracy in our country. Even when he veered off, I will say fear, sir. Baba, he veered and joined you in Afenifere. Many of us here have ideological disagreement with him, but we rely very much on Yinka's commitment. And when he got to Afenifere, sir, you know, you had a member who was completely dedicated to the struggle for a just Nigeria. Martin Luther King who said it. A man who won't die for something is not fit to live. Somebody has said there that there is no investigation. Yinka has not been indicted. I will say in Yoruba, kò sẹ́ inquiry lọ́rọ̀ ẹ̀. If you are going to investigate Yinka till eternity, you may challenge him on his positions politically, but it can never be found wanting in terms of integrity. Baba, you have talked about naira and dollars. I tell our people, you panikolo ma fi be ale power. Baba ko ma fi koko pa yan. Ataro atosan, ale kò sí tó dá o. Therefore, for young people here, the future is yours. Sir, twice in the last 3 years, our young people have shown that if properly organized and coordinated, they can send packing the ruling class. Yes. When I first saw the NSAS protest, I had to ask myself, I asked my wife, is this Nigeria? He said, yes. Oh, my wife, no. But me want you to prepare Panayam for me because I thought everything was over. But those young people all over the country, showed all of us that with organization, we can change the fortune of this country. What did the regime do? Well, the regime introduced violence. Again, this is what has just happened. I've asked all my clients and friends who are APC and PDP, those who are complaining, and I want all of you to ask at home, who did our young people vote for? So it's not about ethnicity. And by the time they started this campaign, in the logic of capitalism, but Umbolati approve gbogbo plan leko. Alausa ni. Do you understand me? A friend told me. Are you with me? Yes, and my last message, I beg you. Last message. Again, I got this from a young man in my home. My son came to me. Daddy, kilo ṣẹlẹ̀ nluwa, mo ní kí lẹ rí. Àwọn èèyàn tó wà ń jọba kí ló ń ṣe, mo ní kí lẹ rí, kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀. Say, Daddy, in Lagos they don't want people to go to school again. So what do you mean? Please, this boy, what are you saying? He said, Femi, Daddy, if a tout can become a CEO in the government of Lagos State, the struggle we are waging is political, moral, and cultural. In my part of the world, if Awolowo came to Ekiti, there were people that would walk miles to see the man in white dress. I will don't tell Awolowo by Akitola fi won se yeye pe eyin Ibadan eyin Oyo awon Ekiti won ti kawe tan ye ni Kansin and Professor Igu. And there was a Professor Aluko. And there was a Professor Aluko. Oh, I saw one Atioro. But that was a way of showing that the people were going to school. Today, that is no longer the story. The leaders we have now in that part of the world, one of them, Oshia Port, October 15 last year. When they go, I don't play as I'm talking to you now, aeroplane Air Force, Tole Bale, no Okuta, in a land. I want to get at the Paris airport. The point I'm making, therefore, is that all of us are good on the day. Our country is going down the drain. You don't get budget, Abuja Nicolans analyze. Oh, Buhari has delivered his budget. Budget one of the 5th largest economy in Africa. So why are we not interested in the budget of Lagos? Extortion, they call it. And my last appeal. 5 young people. Please don't grow up as rookie fascists. There's a dangerous trend in the media. To buy salt on that one fair. Democracy is about you express your own views, I express my own. If you can convince me, so be it. But come on, Baba, àtàwọn young people lawyer. Dele, wọ́n fi Dele sí fọ́tò Dele wà ní. Fọ́tò Macaroni wà ní. Fọ́tò Màmú wà ní. Wọ́n láwọn akutilétà. Àwọn àlè. Àwọn ọ̀jẹ̀lú ni. I can assure you, sir, Baba, you must sue those guys. We have located them already, sir. We have located them. 2 letters have already gone to them. Very good. Prodigal son. Because we have political disagreement. And I'm begging young people, please, whether you're obedient or what the other people, please, this country must have respect for elders, institutions, and integrity. You can disagree with us, but please don't abuse people and call them names. But we are going to make an example of these animals. Thank you very much.